we will again encourage you, if you have the chance, the opportunity to join us. The link is showing on your screen. You can join us live. We bring you in live to give your own opinion. You find out that today we are really talking about focusing on the main things that matters. Now, there's been a lot of emotions, all over the place from every angle in Nigeria, and a lot has been happening as well. We are beginning to, kind of narrow these things down so we can move forward. So again, we stand with the Nigerian youth and every loving Nigeria that wants to see Nigeria go forward. Joining me today are some of my friends, and some of them are still trying to get their technology working. It's been a challenge, but we will get there. I have already known to this program, UC, again, as you know, he's a writer, he's a broadcaster, he does many things. He's a motivational speaker, and he's an amazing guy. UC, thanks for joining us today on this program.
It's exciting to be here again. Awesome. And of course, sometimes people wonder to what extent what we're doing is making a difference.
Yes.
Each time you raise a voice for something or against something, you're making a difference, depending on which side of a divide you are. And one of the things we cannot afford to do right now is to keep quiet. You cannot. There is a compromise in silence. Sometimes you may not be actively involved in a crime, but if you cover a crime, you're as guilty as the person who committed that crime. Okay, so gone are the days when we say it doesn't really concern me. And the one man said that the worst illiterate is the political illiterate, because he does not know that the price of food in the market.
Yeah, sorry. Barry, we are hearing you now. Yeah, go on, Gabriel.
Okay, so we must begin to understand that the policies that are rolled out and how they affect the man on the streets are all political decisions. So we can be politically illiterate, and we cannot act, I don't care, at this point in time. So whatever anybody can do, and gladly, God has dealt with us in such a way that we have experience in certain areas that we can deploy in governance or in pushing forward this agenda. If you read the Bible properly, you'll find that there were key people who got involved in government. Joseph got involved in government, Daniel got involved in government, and I dare to say that this is a time for Christians, spirit-filled Christians, who see what these leaders don't see, can begin to make their inputs, and hopefully we can begin to change the narrative. But we can afford to keep quiet. Yes. Welcome everybody on board, and so let's do it again.
Awesome, thank you for that opening. This is your profession, and you've done us the duty of giving us a resounding opening there. I thought at the time I was listening to Fox News, but I had to slap myself again to know I'm still talking with my friend and a brother all the way from Enugu State in Nigeria, keeping it clean and keeping us proud. Thank you, Gabriel. Joining us again is Barrister Ifeanyi Aguncha Esquire, a principal state counsel with the Ministry of Justice in Anambra State. Barrister Ifeanyi, are you there?
Yes, I'm there now.
Awesome.
Sorry, the network glitches stopped me from joining in earlier.
Yes.
Glad to be with you people.
Awesome.
And thanks for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Awesome. Now, Barrister Ifeanyi, part of what he does, not just working where we've just stated he does work, but he's an activist as well. I was told by a reliable and trusted source that when it comes to the constitutions of Nigeria, that is the man to go to. That is the shaker and the mover. And I remember I got hold of him 3 a.m. Nigerian time Sunday morning and started telling him, I was still on my Saturday, and I was telling him this is happening tomorrow. He was thinking it was Monday. In my head, I'm thinking Sunday. So few seconds ago, he got an alert that the show was starting right away, and we are honored to host you, and we are glad you were able to honor us. Thank you, Barrister Ifeanyi. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let me quickly say something.
Yes.
What we're doing right now is building a network, a network of like minds, a network of people who want to see this country change, who believe that this country can change. Now, I'm glad he is an expert when it comes to the law, because one of the problems we have in Nigeria is enthroning our primordial sentiments above the Constitution.
Yes.
Okay, a situation where, like a few days ago, I raised about, I called it 3 cards that they have been playing since 1960. They have played it successfully. With the way it's looking, they are bound to start playing those cards again. We talk about the card of ethnicity. We talk about the card of religion. And then we talk about the card of politicizing things. Okay, so if it was PDP that was in power to tell us it's APC that is the problem. Now that it's APC that is the problem, they want to blame PDP. So, good. We must get to that point. But one point I want to make is, beyond what we do today, we really need to get to know ourselves. Now, he is in Anambra. I can easily call him up on my shows.
Yes.
So that he can give me an authoritative constitutional angle to some of the issues that we raised. So, welcome, Ifeanyi. Good to have you.
Thank you, Mr. Gabriel. Nice to meet you too.
Yes.
Thank you.
Ifeanyi, you will soon hear him. I mean, when I spoke with him this morning, the first example he gave me, I called back the person that referred me to him. I said, he bought my soul already. He knows what he's doing. So we will sorry.
Everybody.
Wait a minute. Let's get this going. Just a sec, guys. A lot is happening today. Okay. I'm trying to do 2 things. Okay. Oh, okay. Don't worry, I'll get this settled. I'm unfortunate in 2 meetings. I need to get out of one. Yeah. Okay, I am gonna just hold on, everybody. I'm live on Facebook, and I'm hearing children clapping and singing. That's good. Just need to get out of this one. You see, can you go on and let me. I'm having some technology challenges here. You see, go on, please.
Let's get it started. One of the biggest concerns we have right now is, with all that has happened, starting from Tuesday, when peaceful protesters were shot at, till Wednesday, when we saw a whole lot of destructions and looting, which amounts to criminal activities, and then to the discovery of palliatives in different places. Now, a whole lot has happened. It's been a very busy 4-day period. I mean, one of the biggest concerns I have right now is what is going to happen to the genuine protest. Of course, we have to make a distinction between what's genuine and what has to be condemned as, people working against themselves. I live in Enugu, and we saw a whole lot of damages too. We saw people looting other people's shops. I don't know how that makes people feel, but then if you loot your fellow citizens' shop, how is that a protest? How is that you holding the government accountable? And then you go to the banks. I don't know where they get the idea that the banks are owned by the government. The banks belong to the private sector. And what do you think is the way forward, and then to ensure that the real protest does not stop? Because if we stop here, I think we will not have accomplished so much. As much as we have accomplished, if we stop right now, we will have stopped just midway into the real progress. So, what's the way forward? That's what's agitating my mind at this very period. But if I want to come in right now.
Okay. I think the issue of the protest continuing in the face of all that happened, we have to take a different trajectory from all that has transpired. I think right now what we need to do now is to keep on speaking about the ills of the society. I think the NSAS movement is a metaphor. It started as an uprising against police brutality. People narrating their audios, their ill-fated audios in the hands of the police. Then from there, it now crystallized and snowballed into several other regions, which are all dovetailed in bad governance. So all we need to do is to keep on engineering the consciousness of everyone, especially the young people, as 2023 approaches, keep on reminding them on the need, first of all, to get their permanent voters card, because it is through them that they will be able to effect the change. They're encouraging young people to join politics. Most of our people are apolitical and shying away from politics. When we join politics and they elect credible people who will be able to usher in those blueprints that we desire, I think we are going to make so much impact so doing. So the first of all is, let us first of all be attuned with our civic responsibility. That is the next step. If we are attuned with our civic responsibility, we then go a while further and retiring the old guys who have held us down. By retiring those old guys who have held us down, we now introduce younger people who are in tune with modern day realities, who are in tune with the challenges that the nation is facing, who are in tune with what needs to be done to be able to move a step forward. Then when we now introduce such young people and they lay out the blueprint and match it with actions, I believe we have a new Nigeria which we all desire. So that is, to me, the next step to go. So we have to now move away from the street to political engineering, social engineering, then participating in politics. Because the ironical thing we have seen in Nigeria is that most young people shy away from politics. Most are political. Most maintain a nonchalant attitude. They don't care. But just like we stated, Mr. Gabriel, politics is the hub of the nation. One decision taken wrongly has a way of affecting several destinies adversely. So we must be involved in politics. We cannot run away from politics. We must be involved in shaping our future. And by doing so, politics can be done in several ways. It is not necessarily being a card-carrying member of the party. It's even by volunteering, joining up in associations, being in the fourth estate of the realm through the media, championing causes, championing policies. So talking about it, being involved, being interested, being in things that matters. If the young people get interested in things that matters, I believe we'll be able to have a thank you.
Okay, that's very interesting, and that means it's not just a demand that we place on the political elite or the ruling class. It's also a demand we place on ourselves. For those who have been apolitical, we begin to get involved and then begin to use our various platforms. Now, someone said something very interesting. I was talking with a very brilliant guy a while ago, and he said that looking at what happened, the way to look at it on a surface level is that, okay, people are hungry, and that's why they had to go the rampage they did. But then he added that there are poor people that will not do, that will not get involved in the looting that they saw. And so what he said was that you can arrive at a conclusion. I mean, even though we don't have an empirical research to support that, but that probably 7 out of every 10 person who got involved in the negative demonstration and looting are just like the leaders they supposedly want to change. Okay, so you see those who are genuinely protesting, who are earning a decent living, and who can never be pushed to the wall where they begin to destroy what belongs to all of us. But then you also see negative elements who are ready. Now, probably their grounds is that they are not the ones in power. Not necessarily that those in power are doing something they want to really change. So, from what Barrister just said right now, it's a two-way thing. We are placing a demand on those who are in authority to shift political trajectory from the ruler and the Lord of all that they have become, to knowing that leadership is actually service. Then while we do that, while we hold them accountable, we also need to get active. We also need to get active with our own inputs here and there so that we can really begin to participate. I mean, one of the biggest lies that I've been told is that politics is a dirty game. So let's see how they make it look. The more we want to not involved, and the more we do not get involved, the more they do what they want to do. So the moment we begin to get involved and begin to challenge some of the things they do, somehow we will begin to change the narrative.
Yes.
Okay, since you're ready now.
Yeah, thank you. You see, it's interesting to understand that and to observe at the same time that the United States of America, at the moment in their campaigns, their first debate, presidential debate, the two aspirants, how they presented themselves, the people had to call them to order. The people had to call them to order and say, this is not the way. You cannot be modeling. You should and ought to model leadership for our nation. We refuse to take anything that is less than that. And for the first time, their debate just last week, they had to the people again, because democracy has to be, again, by definition, government by the people, for the people. I don't know what it means in other nations, but this is what it is here. And their last debate, they even gave power to the moderator to mute any of the presidential aspirants, including the incumbent president, Donald Trump, if he went out of line. And it's something you will when you read this thing, these are nations with laws that work. And on this notion, I want to bring in Gradan, because Gradan was on this show yesterday and raised some valid points about, he actually made some statements that scared me, in the sense that that were concerned to me, not scaring me, rather concerns, because I know them to be truth. Somehow he made the claim that the president of Nigeria is above the law. The state governors are above the law. So before I bring Gradan in, I want to ask Barrister Fine, does police people have the right to arrest people and shoot them without them going through the process of the criminal justice in Nigeria? Does our constitution give them such power? Barrister Fine.
Not at all. They have powers to arrest people randomly without trial and execute them in cold blood, as we have heard of the fast people do. That is not part of their training. That is not legally permissible. But what happened is this. Let me address that issue.
Okay.
So many things culminate into what we have as our present reality with the police. First off, as a prosecutor, most of our people or some of our people are not interested in following the due process in seeking redresses when a crime is committed for some reasons. Some of them, because of the prevailing odious religious sentiments in Nigeria, tell you that they have forgiven whoever that must have committed the crime against them. Because of the exclusionary policy in Nigeria, most are easily compromised by money and they back out of the cases. So when most police officers risk their life going after these people, arresting them, then the cases are not charged to court because of paucity of witnesses. The cases fail. Most of them fail agree.
Okay.
So when they are not convinced, as they claim, that these guys are deep into what they normally do is execute those people. Yes, but then it is very, very wrong because that is not what the law permits. Because by that execution, the police have now turned itself into a law unto itself.
Yes.
The police now arrest. There is nobody to validate or to verify their claim. But they now waste those people in cold blood. But like I said at the issue, it is a reality bettered by so many factors.
Wow.
And one of the factors is that most of our people do not have the patience, do not see the need, are not interested in following the processes provided by law in ventilating their grievances which are rooted in crime.
Wow.
For example, I've had cases I wanted to prosecute in court whereby the witnesses back there, they told me that their pastor said, if anyone wrongs you, forgive that person and get going. So when you have people with that type of mentality, it will be difficult to achieve a result. And then most people outside who do not know what is going on, we're not saying that the judiciary has failed. But in the reality, judiciary, even though it has its own problems and issues, are not solely responsible for the best state of affairs we have in Nigeria. I want to make that very clear. If we want to achieve a good criminal justice system, efficiently run like we see in the Western societies, then everyone must be involved. All hands must be on deck. And another point that we also need to note is most of our private citizens have so much corrupted the police force.
Wow.
It is not very difficult to tell when the police is doing a good job and when they are doing a very dirty job. Yes, because in our climb here, we see people who now have the police at their beck and call, using them for even private assassination purposes.
Hey.
Yeah, so you now have as I'm telling you, these things are prevalent in Nigeria. They are so common. You now see somebody, a young man, being framed, or maybe it's an adversary, maybe let's say that struggling over a piece of land with somebody. The young man is being accused of kidnapping. Nobody knows who are the victims of the so-called kidnap. Nobody knows anything about that. The young man is bundled and taken to fast. Before you know it, you hear that the young man is no more. Executed in cold blood. So the police, strictly legally speaking, do not have the powers to arrest somebody and murder that person in cold blood, like we have in Nigeria. They don't have such powers. Yes. What normally leads to all those things is a combination of several factors, both from the police itself, which has lent itself to massive corruption, the citizens who are shying away from following the due process in tackling those and the role of other factors is what contributes to the system we have now in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Barrister Fanye. You see what you need to have this guy on your radio show. You can see he is balanced. Gradan, some of the points you made yesterday, Gradan, about again, Gradan was arguing that Nigeria cannot be ruled by the Western democratical system. That where we are in crime, that somebody's echoing. You see, I think it's you. I'm hearing echo from your side.
No.
Oh, okay.
Is it okay?
Okay. Let me go on. No, it's still echoing. Reduce the volume from the speaker. I think that's what is echoing back. Yeah. Yeah. So, Graden, can I have you speak on some of these things like we've discussed? Some points you were raising yesterday with respect to your argument or your concern that Nigeria cannot be ruled like the democracy we practice in North America. Graden, are you there?
Yeah. Good evening, Uche.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And good evening, Ifeanyi Barrister.
Yeah, thank you.
I must say that I'm already in love with Ifeanyi.
I know you will like him. The guy is what they said he is. That's who he is.
So it's a real Nigerian.
Yes.
I like people who understand the issues. And not people who are beclouded by primordial, ethnic, religious, factors. Having said that, I was going through Facebook yesterday, and a guy I love to be on his wall, his name is Mr. Olajide Abiola, the chief promoter of Kia Beats. He's an online platform. He said, and I would look in the mirror. Look in the mirror. What do you want from Nigeria? Look in the mirror and check if you are offering that. What are you presenting? All over the place, you see hypocrisy. I cannot stop saying that. Hypocrisy in the church, in our political party structure, in every sector. When you see people shouting blue mother because something is going wrong, it's because they are not the people doing that thing that is wrong at that time. It's because when you see somebody shouting ole ole, it is because it is not his ole. Because when his ole was being pursued, he apparently stole more. But he wasn't there to shout because he was a beneficiary. So when he sees an ole steal biro, he follows to do he joins the lynch mob. That's the story of Nigeria. So, but I don't like dwelling so much on this because when you do, you are like always reinforcing the problem. What's the solution? I'm not about the solution. The only solution I have found is Joseph Grad and Chukwuka. Interrogate yourself. Look in the mirror. Present what you want. Be the Nigeria you want. All these thieves. What me? All the thieves. I know 70% of those the people that led that thing you call what they call it protest. Is it Showere? Don't you know that Showere was my president at Unilag? Is it the G? All these pot smoking musicians? They are the leaders. They video them. Tiwa Savage them. These are the leaders. Well, do I have the right to shout about this? Maybe no, because when I want to speak like this, I ask myself, then where were you? If you cannot provide leadership, why interrogate those who are providing the leadership that they know of? So it still comes back to you look in the mirror. If in our little corners everybody looks in the mirror, when we come out, we present a righteous front, a moral front that moves a nation forward. I'm telling you, that is the situation here. Okay, they granted their 5-point request. Why don't you go and give them benefit of that, like I said yesterday, and watch them for 2 weeks, for 1 month, then come out again? But apparently they have been compromised, so they were with the other things were involved. So they can't. If they were there on their own volition, they would have left of their own volition, but they were not there. The people that were sponsoring them told them, don't leave. We are getting them. At the end of this, look at, thank God that some of them received a knock on the head from the stone they threw into the marketplace. Because some of them had their shops destroyed. A lot of private people, sweats of years wasted. You are protesting against bad governance, against Tinubu and all. You went and I've been telling people, Oriental Hotel, I worked, I did some jobs there. It's not owned by Tinubu. But when they hate you, they can tag any property to you. And in the day of rage, like we had in the past few days, they will move against the property they have tagged to you, whether it is yours or not. You are burning BRT buses that they used to. By tomorrow, the masses will start seeing who is going to be at the front. You come to Enugu here, they are burning Otigba Junction statue, burning traffic light, bringing down traffic lights. You destroy First Bank branch, Access Bank branch. You raid all the ATMs, protest. You are burning police stations. We are talking of police. And I have heard people giving distress calls to these men. I asked the guy, Prince, which police are you calling? Which police are you calling? Ara Baba Gondara. that madness that is worrying us. We haven't even seen the last of it. I'm in a class chat, CIC, class of 89. And I know the stupid argument they were profiling there. Yes, he gets Buhari. Thank God. He will hear. I said he will hear. He will hear. From Asoro, he will hear. Okay. You love what is happening because your enemy or the man you love to hate is in power. When the thing started, when the conflagration became intense, all of them started praying for the thing to end. I said it must continue. Oh, because you can see that alliance have taken over. You are afraid. So that thing doesn't enter Tosimo. Tosimo is where you have your shop. You don't want it to enter markets where you both have shops. The stone that they threw into a marketplace, do you know who it will land on? Who said it will land? Nandekano is shouting from London, giving his own orders, and people are beheading policemen in Anambra State, cutting off the head and dancing on the street with it. That is what we have become. Nobody is looking in the mirror. Nobody is looking in the mirror. Let the church look in the mirror. Let you and I look in the mirror. All this we can talk. How many constitutional conferences have we had in Nigeria? And how many have been implemented? We have corrupted the police. We have so every institution you see in Nigeria is a product of the society. The institutions that have gone bad, including the educational institution. I have seen parents that go to buy current result, current exam questions for their kids. Current, not past. Parents, and such parents will be in his rooms saying that Minister of Education is doing evil. He's not running the system well. But you want to buy this. Come to church. See, so nowadays I even get tired going to church. I'm telling you. And I attend one of the best run parishes in Enugu Diocese. Chapel of His Resurrection of Venerable Sam Ike. but you don't get encouraged anywhere. So you try to be the encouragement as much as you can. We must start interrogating ourselves one by one. Be the Nigeria you desire. Be the society you desire. We cannot, if you want to start talking of corruption, it's relative and it's all over, it's endemic, it's everywhere. Everywhere. The person that wants to talk about it is even more corrupt than the person he wants to talk against. Until we start interrogating ourselves, all this, where are we headed?
Gradan, thank you for your contributions. They are like boy, like the Igbo man would say. I think Barry Stefan, you will agree with me. I'm glad I have the two of you on today's chat because the two of you release your opinions, boy. You know, and again, Gradan, I beg to disagree on the premise about who might be leading. You see, when you look at the scriptures, there was a time God had to speak through the mouth of a horse. And I always tell people, if he can do that, then every other person is qualified for God to speak through the person. Now, I understand, my understanding, and as a clergyman, let me say this. I think the church, the body of Christ, dropped the ball. And God started, looking for other people. We might look at them and think morally that they are not qualified, but the truth is that the scriptures again says that God directs the affairs of men. God is interested in Nigeria. I don't want to say as much, and I feel like preaching and taking offering. I'm coming. I'm coming. I said I feel like preaching and taking offering. Are you ready to give offering? Come on. But yeah, I hear. Yes, we can hear you. Thank you, Yusuf, for coming back. Yeah, we're hearing you, Yusuf. Your life. And
I'd like to comment at a point.
Okay, yes, we will bring you in at the point. Granted, I'm just saying that most of the things you said I agree with. But the Igbo man will say engage him no sisi. We got to something. In other words, if all of us are corrupt in one way or the other, does that leave us with any hope? Is there any hope for us? But even before I get you to respond to that, let's hear what UC has to say. UC, you've had Gradan, you've had Barry Seifani. What do you think?
Now, the first thing I like to say is this country belongs to all of us.
Yes.
It belongs to those up north. It belongs to those down here. It belongs to those in the west. It belongs to the clergy. It belongs to a broadcaster like me. It belongs to a barrister like my brother Efanye. It also belongs to even the musicians. Everybody has a role to play. Okay, yeah. So one, so they played their role. And in broadcasting, I am taught not to assume. Okay, now we probably don't have any proof that the guys who led the movement were being paid to do what they are doing. Now there's always someone to take a bill. Okay, and it would be wrong to simply water down what has happened as simply political. Now that does not erase the fact that it can be political. But it is a movement that all of us need. Now, I also had my brother say, okay, there are 5 points, this thing were met. Met to what degree? Met to what degree? Simply by someone saying, I have changed SARS to SWAT. And now, the swiftness of the change is even suspicious.
Was questionable.
I mean, you run things, you can't collapse a system and start another system in less than 2 weeks. Now, that's if the government takes into account the heinous crimes that these guys have committed. You need to go back and read what they have done. It's way off the hook. Okay, so whether they were sponsored or not, now it's also important that we make a distinction between the protest and the hijack of the protest.
Okay.
There are also insinuations that the government in power bought some people to infiltrate them. Now, prior to Tuesday, these guys had their security. Before you join the crowd, they will search you to make sure that nothing was wrong. So there are things that are commendable. There are things that are condemnable. What has gone on in the whole country, looting and killing of policemen, is highly condemnable. And we must condemn it. But you see, to water down the whole effort of the NSAS by reading political meanings and all of that will not help any one of us. The best we can do, just like you said, is look in the mirror. And the truth has to be told. There's a compromise from the religious angle. And like I said, probably you didn't hear me when I said it. My opening statement, I talked about the 3 cards that the people, the political elite, have consistently played from 1960 till date. And each time they pull out these MasterCards, they polarize what is supposed to be a movement. One, they make us begin to reason along ethnic line. When they marched out on the street, it was not a Yoruba thing, it was not an Hausa thing, it was not an Igbo thing, it was a collective effort. And so my concern is that we're beginning to think along, and that's why I've never agreed with Mazen Namdekano, because he sees the whole problem as just once we get rid of the North, we are good to go. We have our problem. And I've always said, we must always distinguish between what they are doing to us and what we're doing to ourselves. The second card is religious sentiments. And anybody, I make bold to say, that will move this forward must rise above these 3 sentiments. The third one is the political sentiment. I mean, before now, APC was blaming PDP for 16 years of misrule. Now, after 5 years, have we made significant progress? Maybe we have, maybe we have not. But I will not succumb to any of these 3 cards from now till I die. Nobody will divide me. The problem is not the Yorubas, Igbos, or the Hausas. The problem is all of us put together and the cards we are bringing to the table.
Agreed.
Thank you, UC. That was well stated. Nice to have you back again. We lost you for some seconds there. Barrister Ifeanyi, can you speak to this, please? Advise us and at the same time educate us. Does Nigeria have a constitution already in place that can make a democratical government to work in Nigeria? Barrister Ifeanyi, do we have you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry, the network.
Yeah, that's okay. I don't know if you had my question.
No, sorry, I didn't get
Okay, so my question is, does Nigeria have a written constitution? One of the things I had Gradan saying that we've done, visited those constitutions over and over, but the challenge of applying them, can you confirm that we have a written constitution that can make a democratic government work for Nigeria?
Of course, we have a written constitution. There's no doubt about that. We have a written constitution which has been altered on some few occasions. But surely we have a written constitution which is the 1999 constitution as amended. The amendment incorporates the latest some of the alterations done to the provisions in the constitution. For example, the establishment of National Industrial Court, the National Industrial Court, even making it a full-blown court now, where matters and employment matters are not tried exclusively. And there were some amendments done to the electoral, to the provisions on provisions governing the elections. So we have a constitution in Nigeria, but there's no doubt about that. We don't think that implemented and
hello.
So we have the network is very
yes. Go on if I'm hearing you now.
Constitution.
Yes, thank you for.
Yes, we have a written constitution about that.
Okay.
Yes.
So why is it not working?
Yes. Why the system is collapsed is very simple. Most of our leaders, the people who are saddled with responsibility in every strata of governance, from legislature, the executive, the judiciary, most times do not pay to the letters of the constitution. Most times they pay service to it, finding a way to have their own way to meet up with their personal ambitions, regardless of what the letters of the law say. For example, when the former Chief Justice of Nigeria was put out of office, that is Honorable Justice Walter Samuel Onoye. Samuel Onoye was on the bench as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. It's not the way provided in the law for him to be removed. Yes, but the president did that because they wanted to store in sheep points so that they felt it will be an obstacle to them, to their political ambition, so they have to kick him away. So there are instances like that, both under the current dispensation and prior to now, where several elected officers go out of their way, doing things that are not sanctioned in law, and they're getting away with it because of the porous nature of our system. I think you can still recall when former President Olusegun Obasanjo, contrary to the provisions of the law, seized local government allocations of Lagos State. When the former Lagos State Governor, created the local government council, some additional local government council. They must stop the local government councils of Lagos from earning anything from the Federation account, and that is wrong. To some of us, also, was instrumental then in using about 8 to 10 members of the Plateau State House of the Assembly to then govern. There are several instances where the constitution was trampled upon. So it is a matter of willingness, not a matter of lack of the law. It's a matter of
Yes,
so many of them, and the lack of the accountability in the system that allows them to get over that. But for sure, the government sufficient provisions to guide all these contingencies. But we do not have the wherewithal, the moral wherewithal from our leaders and the relevant stakeholders to follow through these provisions of these laws. So that is actually the problem in Nigeria. So it is a case of implementation and the being wary of the system that holds everyone accountable. But because the system here is slacks, that is why we have things going the way it is in Nigeria. After all, what do we are running an efficient system. Someone who actually was the elected government. Yes, from that, we should have to expel in the first place. It's no. But here we are very on his government. So we have several laws. What we really like is we do not have the discipline of following those laws to the left, like our own personal ambition. And before you know it, there is an anomaly in landscape proportions everywhere. So, and the reason is that the system collapses as we have in Nigeria now.
Thank you, Barrister Ifeanyi. You see, what do you think about his explanation?
Yeah, it has never been the absence of laws. The laws we have is much more than enough. Of course, it's subject to review, constant review. But the basic problem we have is the absence of the rule of law. The little we got in our government classes in in the secondary school, we were taught that the second element, supremacy of the law. Supremacy of the law simply means that everybody is under the law. Now, America, for instance, the United States of America, it's like a melting pot of all cultures. People from all over the world are there. You have Christians, you have Muslims, you have all manner of people. But what is guiding the operation in that kind of a highly diversified society is that everybody is subject to a constitution. And until we achieve that, we live in a country where some section can decide to have Sharia law. So we must come to a point where everybody is equal before the law. Then we also have a case of impunity, where if you are part of the elites, you can do anything and get away with it. If you don't get away with it, it's simply because maybe you're on the other side of the elites. We also have what we call, and we have not been able to achieve that, that's separation of powers. Now, imagine the kind of country we will have if the legislature is truly independent from the executive and then from the judiciary. So, but you see the executive having an overbearing influence on the other arms of government. And as long as this continues, I mean, they handpick whoever does what, and then at the end of the day, you just have it's just a cabal. The other thing that is necessary is you talk about electoral systems, electoral reforms. Now, to what extent can we beat our chest and say that INEC is truly independent? Maybe we should just throw away the I, so we can have National Electoral Commission, because they are not truly independent. I mean, you even the blind can see that they do the bidding of those in power. We hope that the electoral system can give them such autonomy that they can do what has to be done. Okay, now you talk about, recently they've been talking about electoral reform and the need to bring in electronic voting. What is delaying it? So the government in place knows that if they put it in place, it may not favor them. So they will wait until their tenure is over, and then if a new tenure sits in, they still will delay it. So
yes, we just lost you there. You see, if you're hearing us, we are not hearing you.
But we have to be conscious how it's we do and how we live.
Awesome. Thank you, UC, for that amazing contribution here. Again, if you're joining us, I'm here with Gabriel Gradan and Barrister Ifeanyi, all well represented, and they've done a lot of amazing contribution. You can rewind this back and listen to it. Believe it or not, guys, we're almost an hour since we started, and we like keeping this to an hour, and so that people can, we don't want to force down a lot of informations and people will get overwhelmed. But again, in summary, let me say that one of the things that we have raised up today is that, for number one, we have a constitution. Nigeria has a constitution that works. And we are encouraged to know that, because some people think we don't have a constitution. We do have a constitution. And secondly, that we all need to look at ourselves in the mirror. The song that comes to mind is Michael Jackson, I'm Talking to the Man on the Mirror, which is one of the songs I play when I do leadership programs. I'm talking to the man on the mirror. I'm telling him to change his ways. We need to look at ourselves on the mirror, and the change needs to begin with us. With us. Time of pointing fingers are gone. We all need to put our hands on the table. Nigeria will rise again. It is possible. Though we might not sense or see it as things are happening, but believe you me, I believe God has interest over the nations of Nigeria, because their rise up will help a lot of African nations that are looking onto them. But having said that, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And this lot of work needs to be done by every organization, every group, the young, the old, the church, the government, the civil servants, the private business sectors. Every group needs to put their hands on the table. If you have a business and you've never paid tax, you are part of the problem. We need you to be part of the solution. If you're a civil servant, you go to work 2 times in a week and still complain that you are not paid, you are part of the problem. You need to be part of the solution. And the list goes on and on. If you're a young person and you are destroying life and properties, you are now part of the problem. You need to stop and change. Finally, here, let me give the last this thing to Barry Stefani. But Stefani, I read on your wall you made a comment. You said you are scared as you look at things that are happening now. Do you sense a calmness in the next week, or what do you sense as you observe things that are happening where you are?
The situation as which will be from next week onwards will depends on how our security agencies react to the uprisings across the nation.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I must say that as a person, I'm rather surprised on how our system collapsed. You know, to ragtag hoodlums.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the way these guys have been carrying out their activities, you begin to ask yourself, assuming that those who are newly affected do not learn anything from those who were previously affected. Because I start to imagine how hoodlums would have gone to Enugu, for instance, raised shop, attacked public properties, let's kill some policemen, injured others. Somebody in Anambra should know that such a thing can necessarily happen here, and you take precautions.
Yes.
But you see, they come back to Anambra here and play the same script. They have been playing the same script in a very coordinated way, inch perfection across the federation. Where is it a compromise? And also, people, they went to the hours of our security people, with police, especially the police, cutting away so much weapons. So, unless something happens in the next couple of weeks, with the military coming close, we are going to have an upsurge in armed robbery across the federation.
Wow.
Yes, that is not the simple truth of the matter. We are going to have an upsurge in armed robbery, especially armed robbery, very violent crimes. Because right now, so many people are not bearing weapons. And now all they need to do is to have that weapon and then use it wrongly. So we need to see that, first of all, secondly, I don't even understand the essence of the curfews. I think those curfews are ridiculous. The government should relax the curfew.
Yeah.
Allow people to come out and then confront this guy, because it is so obvious that the police have failed. When people now come out and begin to protect their properties, confronting these guys, setting up vigilantes, so that will be one of the ways to stem the tide of these insurgencies. Otherwise, this thing is going to bring us down to our knees. far than we expect or far than we see. It's just as simple as that. Just as simple as that. Okay, right now they are robbing every other person. Are robbing so many people, robbing so many institutions, and the thing is very good. It's affecting the economy. Mr. Grant has said in his contribution, by tomorrow, people will start coming out in Lagos. For example, they begin to run public transport. They will not begin to struggle. So it will cause a lot of tension everywhere. It will cause a lot of tension everywhere. So, and then with the frustrating economy as well. So we are in for a hard time. We are in for a hard time in Nigeria.
Wow. Well, thank you for your contribution. To our listeners, you've had it all. Again, look yourself in the mirror and be a solution. Be a solution, a positive solution. It is important. This fight is not about, it's not ethnical. It's not about different tribes in the country. It's about everybody coming together and saying we want a better Nigeria. And indeed, Nigeria will rise again. Thank you, UC, for creating out the time, joining us. Thank you, Gradan, for joining us. Thank you, Baristify, on that short notice, and you were able to join. And I made a lot of meaningful suggestions. Thank you. And from me, the Maverick Priest, Ike, I'm your friend, is a sign off now, even as we close today with this song. Now, I must say that and give credit to UC. He inspired me about this song. So we're gonna play it as we sign off today. That's the way you guys do it, right? UC, I'm signing off now. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't be sad, understand. Everybody has a day, the sun stays here. Take heart in a new tomorrow. With more love between what's for my day. Never need worry, let one love set you free. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle just staying alive. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle just staying alive. Somebody tell me, oh, why do we fight it? One love can set us free if we just let it be. Take off in a brand new day. Good